Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to the Traditional Super Review AIST roundtable, and it's sponsored by Commonsure. Because we've got Mr. Provestall here, and Jocelyn Fellman will kill me for raising this because it was something she raised in her session yesterday, but kind of hoped that there was no paparazzi there, but I was. But she's talking about, and she has in fact spoken about it before, which is how quickly lawyers involve themselves in the process now. And I'm just wondering whether that's a healthy sign. Do we have to accept our friends, the lawyers, or does the industry have to actually explain to its members that actually there is a process and you needn't necessarily go to a lawyer until the very, very end?
I think that's a key thing that as an industry we need to do. You know, we've been speaking with ISA about this, we'll speak to ASFA about this. I think as an entire industry, we need to communicate out to people that there is a process, and you can go to your fund or you can go to the SCT and get a resolution before you need to go out, or you're approached by an ambulance chaser to say, we're going to go and do that. There is a system that works, and there needs to be better communication of that system, I think.
Alex, you're a lawyer.
Absolutely. Just one thing in relation to the change of cover. One thing is actually we were actually offered no increase, only on the condition that we traded off some of the cover, some of the features of our cover. And some of those features, I would say, were what we saw key. So we accepted, well, reluctantly accepted the increase in premium because we weren't prepared to trade off, features of cover, because from a liability point of view, you would have had the issue of people thinking they still had cover for certain things, where just because you might have sent them a letter and saying in 30 days, your cover's changing, we could just see that not being in the best interest of the members. So that is one method we've seen in relation to premiums. But you're absolutely right. I think even 5 or 6 years ago, you really didn't see much legal involvement at all. Now it is constant. Just about most matters you'll have some involvement of a legal practitioner, and really at the end of the day, in most other avenues, members, consumers who have a complaint are essentially told, you've got to go through an external dispute resolution scheme first before you can actually go further. And if you have the same rules applying to insurance claims, I think that would be a good thing, because the truth is, in most circumstances, there is absolutely no need for an external legal practitioner to play a role. It's just an impediment to the process generally.
Andrew?
I was going to say, at the risk of sounding like I'm merely defending the constituents of my fund, in our fund actually the use of lawyers to help applications for insured claims is really low, like almost non-existent. Now, we think that's because people who work in the legal profession are familiar with paperwork and process and documentation, and so maybe the claim application process for an insured claim with a super fund is not as possibly as intimidating as it may be for others in other occupational groups that don't have familiarity with process and documentation. That might be the case. So I sort of, maybe I'm making a bit of a leap there, but I also then think that I think the issue comes back to the funds having to have responsibility for educating their members about the processes and the avenues they have to make applications. And I also don't think we should criticise or seek to get in the way of a member choosing to get advice on any issue, whatever it might be, legal or financial advice or whatever it be. Some people merely feel that they need help and they want advice. And they want advice from someone who's not connected to the organisation that they're currently working with. So I don't think, I think it has to come back to the funds doing more member education, telling members about the processes they need to go through, and not feeling awkward or uncomfortable or that there's something sinister going on if a member chooses to get any form of advice to help them through a financial decision.
With that, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time this morning and for getting up early. And that's it.